Hey, folks, welcome to the Generational Gap. I am Robert, your resident Gen Xer, and right up there is John, our resident millennial. John, how are you doing tonight?
Super excited. Very, very excited.
Super excited.
Yes.
Hey,
Much excited.
I see Wyatt from Roundtable Decision in
Hey,
the chat.
Wyatt.
He gets firsties with his yo.
He does.
Hey, John, it's a fantastic Monday night in isolation land.
Correct.
And let's not even beat around the bush. We got some shit coming up. It's major. It's splashed all over
Yes.
the screen right now. But please, if you could tell these wonderful folks exactly what's going on, that would be great.
Yes. This coming Friday from noon to midnight Eastern Time, the only real time zone, we are having a, obviously, like I said, 12 noon to midnight, so 12 hours of fundraising so that we can help benefit the first responders for this COVID-19 bullshit that's been going around. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but apparently it's a thing. I don't know. No one's really talking about it. But apparently it's a pretty big deal, and so we want to try and raise some money to help the people who are, on the front lines of it, and who are, putting themselves at risk in order to save others, which I think is a very noble cause. So, I want to be able to help them out as much as possible, and I know, our audience is very generous as well. So I'm sure a lot of you will too. But besides that, we even have a bunch of entertainment. So if you just want to come by and just watch, I mean, you can do that too. But we'll judge you a little bit, but that's all right.
Yeah, and if you take a look down in the description, folks, there is a link that will go directly to the GoFundMe page, so you can feel free to fill in a little donation now. I mean, it doesn't hurt to get started, and uh, Midge is trying to correct me that it's EDT, but fuck EDT. It's been EST.
Yeah,
It was EST in the good old days, and it still is because it's Eastern Standard Time because we are the standard. We are the
that's
mo
right.
thuggin' standard. That's what you keep in
It's
mind.
true.
That's what you've
I
got to
mean, whenever
remember.
you look on TV, right, and it says, "Oh, this show comes on at 8 p.m." It says Eastern time first. Then it says some other bullshit like Pacific time or whatever.
Hmm. We
It'll
get
be
this.
like 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific or some shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we get the sun first, bitches.
that's right. Some bullshit time zones out there
Hmm.
trying to act like real ones.
We are the standard that the rest of the time zones want to meet.
That's right. And before fucking Greenwich Mean Time, get fucked right. Eastern is the only good time zone.
I'll just say Greenwich has never been mean to me. I've always seen it as a very nice time.
Oh,
Oh,
Wyatt coming into
Wyatt.
Central.
Oh,
Okay, let
oh.
me ask you something, Wyatt.
Mm-hmm,
Let me ask
mm-hmm.
you something. Right, you have NASA over there in Houston, right? Mission Control or whatever's over there. Uh, Let me ask you a question. What time zone does the International Space Station run off of?
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Pretty sure it's Eastern time.
Yeah,
Ah,
Houston,
yeah,
we have a time zone problem.
that's right.
Hey, just remember, Central Time is kind of like that middle child. You know, it's not the firstborn, it's not the baby. It's just the kid stuck in the middle. Yeah,
Well, I don't know. I see Central Time as like the little brother that your mom makes you take over to your friend's house because he kind of whines and begs,
sure,
and then you're like, "Fine, I'll take. Come on," and then you're mean to him the whole time while you're at your friend's house. That's
sure,
Central Time Zone.
sure, and that's a perfect middle child as well because the youngest one is still at home, right? Can't is not old enough to go, so you know.
Right.
Central Time is Malcolm in the middle, so suck it, bitches.
Yeah.
But I don't want to
Old
go in.
twig, Frankie Muniz. Yeah.
Um, we've got the fundraiser coming up on Friday, so I'm not going to get into a lot of diatribe about the virus. It's still going on. It's still running around. It's still overblown as far as from perception and what's being done about it. So it is what it is. We're kind of in a holding pattern, and just getting to watch all the back and forth that goes on. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we can throw our disses, and people can run around in Washington trying to figure out who to point the finger at and who to blame all they want, blah blah blah. Waste our money, waste our tax money. Thank you very much. The only upside I will say is that I believe it's this week. For those of you who have been sitting around and losing health, your stim pack is coming. There should be a stim pack coming. You'll be able to inject yourself and carry on for a couple more weeks with that financial cure. But outside of that, we are reaching for number one status with the virus here in America. So there it is. There's freedom and liberty at work for you. We get
Number one,
it's
always.
helped us be number one even in this situation.
That's right.
So that being said, you know, fuck this virus. I'm tired of it. I'm over it. I'm getting a little bit of cabin fever. It has gotten to the point. Um, I'm drinking.
Wow.
That's right. I'm fucking having beer. I'm
Damn.
you know,
Never thought I would see the day.
yeah, I saw something on the internet said hops and barley would cure the coronavirus or keep you from being infected. So I'm like, whatever, I'll try
Oh, so I'm sick. I'm fucking immune. Oh
it.
yeah.
Jeez, you're like in bubble wrap. you're
That's right. Can't
you're
touch
so
me. I'm like fucking MC Hammer over here. Can't touch this.
okay. I got to talk to you about this, John. Talk about something that I spend a lot of time on the computer, during the day because I do freelance work and that kind of stuff. So at the same time, I usually have something to watch. I use that also to have something playing in the background, just to divert my attention when I need to, kind of like a fidget spinner for my
Yeah.
eyes, as it were. So I binge watch a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna recommend this because I think it's awesome. I'm almost through the second season of it. But
Wait,
show
let me guess. Let me guess. Is it Ozarks?
no.
Ah, all right.
All right. So actually, it's a show that's not even running anymore. It had 8 seasons that ended in, I think, 2015. But it's on Showtime, which you can get a free trial for it, and binge watch some stuff that's on there. But it's Penn and Teller's bullshit.
Oh yeah. That's on Hulu as well. I've
That's
watched all of it.
well, it now I think what they have on Hulu is bullshit or not, which was
No,
an
it's Penn and Teller's bullshit.
okay. Is it free available or is it through Showtime? Because I know
Um,
Hulu can stream that through Showtime through Hulu as well.
I don't know. I mean, it's with my subscription to Hulu, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So then maybe
Great
look
show though.
look for it on Hulu. I've been watching it, and I have to tell you, John, it has done a lot to cement my
Cement.
my mindset that the bulk of our population are idiots.
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of problems with the show. A lot of like editing, tricks to make people look like idiots as well.
Hmm.
That was a big thing when they had Maddox on, who if anyone out there from the ancient internet, I know Midget B knows Maddox, but yeah, he was like one of the first shit posters on YouTube, on the internet. Really, he was probably one of the first big shit posters. Um, he totally cucked out in the past few years, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, he was on an episode of bullshit, and yeah, they really edited everything that he said to make him seem like a douchebag rather than him just like being his character of Maddox, which is of course a douchebag. But they, I don't know.
Well,
I can't remember exactly what it was because it was a long time ago that I watched the episode. But yeah, he's on the episode like old people are bullshit. I think is what it is. I think it's that one. Um, but yeah, no, I mean he had all kinds of problems. I think he tried to sue them or something. Um, and then I watched the martial arts one as well, and that was also very deceptive. Um, as someone who did martial arts most of my life, what they did was they found like the worst places, like the worst kind of dojos to go around to, and pass it off as like this is common. So all these like black belt factories and
well, that's to be to
bullshit martial artists.
whole.
But like they made it sound like that was all that martial arts was is
Well,
these quacks.
I feel like in the show, like they still give, okay, so in a situation like that, I'm sure somewhere in the show they were like, it's not all bullshit, but here is the bullshit part, because they do that. They're like, maybe it's not all bullshit, but here's the bullshit part of it. And for instance, like this was one of the things that you know the first one that really just stood out to me. They were doing an episode on uh, global warming and climate change,
Hmm.
and they went to a fucking rally for climate change. All this big thing going on, and they decided that they were going to do a test, and so they sent a girl out with petitions. And the petition was to have dihydrogen monoxide banned.
Hmm.
And people, without even knowing what it was or asking any
Yeah.
questions, were just getting on board. And they're like, sure, I'll sign this. Sure, I'll sign this. Yes, we need to
Yeah.
get rid of that, because she was being honest. She's like, it's all over the place. Pesticide companies use it. It
Yeah.
causes it can cause profuse sweating. It can cause profuse urination. All of this,
Yeah.
because ultimately dihydrogen monoxide is
Water.
water. And people
Yep.
at a climate change, global warming rally all over the place are signing a petition
Right.
to ban fucking water.
So I have two things. I'm actually going to defend these people for a moment. Even though I know, I normally wouldn't. But to be fair to them, one, someone walking around with a clipboard is always looks official,
Sure,
right? You can get away with a lot if you're just walking around with a clipboard. You can get into places you normally couldn't just by having a clipboard in your hand
sure.
and looking like you're writing something down. Um, so there's that, and two, like with these men on the street interviews, like any of them, you walk around for 6 hours, you might get you know 100 people to talk to you, and you show like five of them because you found those five idiots.
Well,
You know what I mean?
they did tell how many signatures they I think they gave a total, I forget the number, but they got a lot of signatures, a lot of petitions
Sure.
signed by people who weren't asking what exactly this chemical was. They were
Hmm.
just, it was the perfect exposition of sheeple. And I was just like, wow. But then turn around, there's another episode that's taught, in that they're talking about water as well, and they made 7 different brands, fictional brands of bottled water, and took them to a nice restaurant and filled all these bottles of with water from the hose in the back of the fucking restaurant, just tap water. But all of them were
Yeah.
from different countries and different this, that, and the other. And so they had this guy coming out as a fucking water steward and going up to tables and like, would you like to look at our water list? And they're ordering this water, and he's like, and they're tasting it, and they're like, oh, this one is so refreshing. Oh, this one definitely has a glacial feel to it. And oh, that one makes me feel more energized, and this, that, and the other. Even went so far as to make a bottle. It was from the Amazon. They claimed the water was from the Amazon, and they had put a fucking rubber spider in the bottom, and were telling people that it was a non-toxic spider that added heat, health elements to the water, healthy elements to the water. And these people were drinking, oh, that's fantastic. That's unbelievable. Blah, 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 blah.
They're explaining the placebo effect. Yeah.
Right. Huge. Right. And then the looks on these people's faces when they find out it's nothing but some fucking water out of the hose. And I'm like, this again, it's just people will buy into anything. They will just dumb into anything. Um, the same thing, they did a taste test on the streets of New York between bottled water and New York tap water. 75% of the people that they presented it to picked the fucking tap water as the best water.
Right.
Um, because
I mean, it does taste different than purified water.
sure,
It's
because
got more minerals in it, and fluoride and all this
well,
other shit.
actually, tap water tastes cleaner because it's natural minerals and
Yeah.
stuff that are in the water, whereas your bottled water gets those things added to after it's been distilled, filtered, and all that shit.
Yep.
They re-infuse shit into it, and you can taste how it's been added into it. I mean, most people don't realize that they're just drinking fucking water with some shit added into it, and it's typically coming from municipal water sources. It was like
Yeah.
they pointed out Coke and Pepsi, who have what, Aquafina and what's
Dasani.
Dasani, and they said
Yeah.
all that those two companies are doing is it's just Coke and it's just Pepsi without any syrup added in and no carbonation. It's the same exact
Yeah.
water they're making their soft drinks with.
That's handy.
But I like them. I like their approach to it. And yeah, I know, and this is where their attitude about it comes from. But they're libertarian atheists, both of them. They're
Yeah. No,
they're
I know they are. Yeah.
they're very libertarian minded, and and of course atheists. They don't buy into the whole God thing. I'm currently watching the episode that they're on about the Bible and whether it's fact or fiction, which is interesting. I do love to see the people that they get on, experts and things like this. Um, but they I hear them constantly talking about this is where your tax dollar, we're spending how much money to do this. They talked about the drug
Hmm.
war, which was a fantastic episode about drugs. And, and they were constantly, spending our money. How much money? Well, fuck you. Get the goddamn gun. They don't drink. They don't do drugs, but they're like, fuck it. Let people do drugs if they want to do drugs. It's their
Yeah.
body, right? It's their fucking
Yeah.
body. So I have to say, I strongly recommend this. I mean, it really, I understand that I get that there's editing that goes on, but they do make it. I just watched an episode today, and it was on like chakras and all of this, you know, alternative healing shit,
Hmm.
and they're like, just so you know, we're not fucking with what these people say. Listen to this guy explain it to you. And the guy got on there just rambling and talking, and it's just like, the fuck are you talking about? This, what? You know? But it's so funny to see just the things that people buy into. And, all these self-help gurus are
Yeah.
amazing to me. Just the shit that people go into for that, and how much money they make
Oh yeah.
off shanking these fucking people. It's insane.
People are always looking for like the new thing to work for them. Like especially if they're going through something in their life and they've tried all this
Mhm.
other shit, and then someone comes along and says, "Oh, hey, I have this new thing you've never tried." Especially if they're popular already, it's like, "Oh, look at all these people, these other people who say the same thing," and
Right.
then, yeah, as you draw people in that way, and you get them to give you their hard-earned money,
Um, I
snake oil salesman, and all that.
I watched an episode also today about they were talking about the 12-step program, Alcoholics Anonymous, or
Hmm.
for depending on it, 12-step programs in any addiction format.
Yeah.
Um, but specifically AA, I hadn't thought about it before. It really hadn't registered, of course, because I've never been in the situation. But you have judges out there that when dealing with criminals involved in alcohol related situations, ordering them to go to AA as part of their
Hmm.
sentence. But the
Yep.
reality is, Alcoholics Anonymous is a faith based organization.
Yeah, it
And
is.
so, literally, judges are violating the Constitution by forcing you to go and take part in a religious situation.
Well, so while I would agree, how they do it means that they're not like how AI goes about it. They have like a kind of loophole to where they're telling you that you have to give yourself up to a higher power, but they don't specify. It
Um,
could be anything.
but then well, they went to the 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 offices, and all through the
Hmm.
offices, God is everywhere on plaques and things, talking about this, talking about that.
Sure.
But the Supreme Court, in more than one instance, when it's been brought before them, have sided against the judge that ordered these things, saying that it does violate the Constitution to
Fair
force
enough then.
someone to do that, because in every aspect, whether it's a higher power or whatever, there is significant proof that AA is founded in a religious on a religious basis.
Oh, shit.
Um,
1 second, real quick. Jake from Freedom Scoop has donated a diamond to us and says, uh, for me to see John's feet. He said, "I
Jesus.
sent lemons. When are we gonna see John's feet? It's gonna be a lot more than a diamond." I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm gonna go the Steven route on this one and say, yeah,
Are,
it's gonna
are
be
you telling me your feet are worth more than $5 fucking?
yes.
Or your embarrassment at showing them is worth more than
No, it's more
$5?
of I know it's gonna bring him pleasure,
What is that?
so he's gonna pay for that pleasure.
This is a really weird fetish he's got, I've got to say. I love you,
It's
Jake,
like
but
the most common fetish out there.
is it?
Foot fetish. It is.
Is it?
It is.
I did not. I think nothing. I fucking feet disgust me to a certain extent. I mean, that's not to say I haven't like sucked on some toes or anything. In the midst of in love making, like foot massages and stuff. Sure. I mean, there's erotic points on the
Well,
foot, that kind of thing.
that's different.
But like sitting around
How
and
much your feet?
it's just like sitting around and one. How much show feet? Oh my god!
A lot,
That's
Sergeant
Sergeant
Peterson.
Peterson.
A lot. I'm going the Steven route, like I said, so a lot.
Oh, goodness gracious. I don't know why your feet would be so popular, because I could only imagine that they're horrific.
They're not. They're actually well protected because I almost never take my shoes off except for when I go to bed.
So,
So like they're nice and super pale. They don't see the light of day. They're not hard
do you
because I'm not walking on hard surfaces barefoot.
do you trim your
They're not all
toenails?
talent. Yeah, of course.
You trim your toenails,
Yes.
or do you just rip them off?
No.
You actually get
It's
a
gross.
nail clipper and clip your nails?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just
Fuck.
I just take the whole fucking nail off, and then it takes forever to grow back. So
Oh my god, that's fucking horrifying.
why? It's just dead shit.
I don't know. I lost a toenail once on my foot when I dropped my mom's bed on it when we were moving one time. That was really painful. And
So
then the nail fell off a few days later. It took like 6 months to grow back. It was pretty disgusting.
see, that's
Not
the
not trying to have that happen again.
see how easy that is? Then you don't have to clip them for like 6 months.
Yeah, fuck that. Then you get shit all in the fuck.
Get
No,
shit in what?
no.
There's nothing to get in.
I mean,
There's
the
no there.
cavity
What
there.
you're gonna get stuff under your nail? No, there's no nail there. It's just skin. It's just the end of your toe.
Nah, that's gross. Fuck that.
Hey, don't knock it till you've tried it, John. I'm just saying.
I I mean, I did like accidentally try it.
Yeah, that's different than manually doing it. Manually doing it isn't painful.
Yeah, fuck that. Not into it.
So if you keep your shoes on all the fucking time. So
I do.
when you take your shoes off, are those, do you get like little green odor vapor trails coming off of them because they stink
No,
so badly?
no, I don't.
Do your feet not sweat?
Not usually.
Is it possible you just don't notice the smell anymore?
I mean, I guess possible.
Here, maybe you can solve this for me, and I've never figured this out. All right, I can take a pair of shoes, and I can, like just a pair of slip-on boat shoes, and put those on and wear them all day, and everything's pretty okie dokie. I sweat in them; they get a little bit of odor, but that airs out. But if I wear sandals, like I used to wear sandals, right?
hmm
When I worked at American Eagle, and I would buy their sandals and stuff, get them real cheap. So open, right? Open to the air,
Yeah,
just covering over the top. Those fucking things used to get the worst goddamn funk. And I'm like, how is this happening that an open shoe or an open sandal is getting more funkified than a closed shoe with my foot shoved in it, sweating and confined?
my guess is that like yes, while it's open, so like it shouldn't be staying in one spot. You're also collecting everything that's around your foot at that time, like onto your bare foot.
Well, but the
That's my
thing,
guess. I don't know. I don't wear
because it's
sandals,
it's
so I don't
it's
know.
it's specifically the foot funk, that foot funk you get, right? Or
Yeah,
you can
I
get,
don't know.
but it's specifically the foot funk. And I'm like,
Hmm.
and it never failed. I would literally have to get rid of a pair of sandals after say 2 months because they would have gotten so much smell to them that I just couldn't wear them anymore. Sometimes less than 2 months. And I could not, I still to this day don't understand, because you would think they would air out much easier or build up less. I see Ron Helton in Deep Life throwing those emojis. I can't make it. Who is that? Is that Greta?
Well, yeah, let me see. That's AOC.
Oh, it's AOC.
Sandals are the
That's
worst. Yeah, I agree.
Do
Sandals
you,
are terrible.
so, Sergeant Peterson, do you have that same thing? Have you had that same thing happen, or is this just you just don't like sandals? I like 'em- the reason I used to wear sandals was because I prefer to go barefoot. Like I lived most of my life
Yeah,
barefoot
that's why
growing
you,
up.
that's why you can't be a foot model like me.
See, so I guess he's had the same issue happen with those, and it's the weirdest funkin' thing. I just don't get it. Yeah, if I had
See, I
my,
can't.
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I can't do stuff like that, like sandals or open toe, anything. Like I have to be wearing shoes at all times, for the most part, just because like my feet are just so insanely ticklish that like touching anything will just be like, it's terrible. Like you know how normally you can't like tickle yourself? I can absolutely do that to my feet. Like it's ridiculous.
Um, that is probably why Jake's got the fetish. He wants to tickle
It
your feet.
could
He's
be.
got a tickle and foot fetish.
Well, I'm telling you, he's gonna get kicked as soon
Yes.
as he tries because it's involuntary. Like there's nothing I can do about it. It's just I can't. Yeah.
Sergeant Peter says he wears sandals every day in the summer in Arizona. Has like 7 pair for each day of the week, and that's the best way to do it, I guess. Yeah, you gotta let them sit for a week so they don't
Yeah.
get funkified. And it kills me too because it does the same thing. Not just sandals, flip flops will fucking do that to me too. Flip flops of all things that don't even stay in contact with your feet the whole time. But yeah, it's if I could just run around barefoot all the time, it would be great. Like it's weird. I'll walk down the sidewalk. I'll be outside walking down the sidewalk. I might run into one of my neighbors and like, oh, you don't have any shoes on. I'm like, why the fuck do I need shoes? Why? Why? Why do you need to wear shoes? you know? I mean, I've got
Yeah.
6 inches of callus on the bottom of my feet from, many years of just running around barefooted on every
Yeah. See,
surface.
I don't have any of that. I have very pampered feet.
Mm-mm, no. Why? Why? Why would you?
because of how insanely ticklish they are. I protect them.
I don't know.
Like I'm telling you, it really is like it's probably a medical marvel
Well, you're gonna be
at like how ticklish my feet are.
you're gonna be fucked if you're ever in a situation where you got to run over some hot shit or some painful shit, and for whatever
Yeah,
reason you don't have any shoes because somebody came in the middle of the night and stole them. Yeah, this is post-apocalyptic situation, I'm
sure.
sure, but you're gonna be fucked. Me,
Yeah.
I'll run on nails. I don't give a fuck. No, one of my favorite things to do when I was young was run around on hot asphalt with my bare feet. I used to love that.
yeah.
But it's just not done anymore. And like my granddaughter, take her walking down the sidewalk, and of course everybody wants to get weirded out. It's not bad. It's bad enough that I might be in bare feet, but they're like, "Oh, the baby doesn't have any shoes on. She was born without them. What the fuck?"
yeah.
She wasn't born with shoes. She was born with a perfectly good appendage that works fine. You know,
Yeah.
toughen those little feet up. Come on, bitches, work with me. But yeah, yeah. So, but anyway, yeah. Helton says I am not ignoring you guys. Just watching the stream that Ed started at 7. A lot of heat in the kitchen here. Get out the fire extinguishers. A lot of heat. A lot of heat in the kitchen here. Is he talking about Ed's show, or his kitchen is
I don't
actually
know.
really
I was
hot?
watching it a little bit earlier. It seemed all right.
Hmm.
I was also watching since we were in a lull in our conversation. I don't know if you're still around, but our boy Wyatt did a stream earlier on his channel, and I was watching that. And yeah, it turns out he's also writing a book about like, um, I mean, it's a fictional novel, and I think it's fantasy as well, but like medieval fantasy. And he read out like the first 10 pages. Yeah, I mean, the kid can write actually. Like, I'll give it to him. He's actually very good at like descriptive writing for the most part, or mostly. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
I started a book one time that I never finished, and I've considered going back and finishing it. Beasel's.
Yeah.
It was called Beasel's Socks.
Sounds awesome.
It was Beazle the Weasel, and he did not like putting socks on with his shoes. So it was a whole
Mhm.
story about teaching Beazle that it was important to wear socks with your shoes.
Dude, sounds like a children's
And
book. At least I hope so.
it was going to be a children's book, yeah.
yeah, dude. Children's books are, I mean, they're easy to write. I don't know how much money is in children's books, but I mean, if you come up with something like the Berenstains or like what was the other one? Little Critter,
Yeah, well
something
those
like
are
that.
well,
Like those are series though, and yeah, so they're much bigger, right? But
well
I mean,
the bottom line is you can write a children's book 500 to 1,000 words tops at best, and just a simple story, just a little parable, whatever, and sell those bitches for anywhere from $7 to $10 a pop. The only thing,
yeah,
the key is having a good illustrator and then getting it
right,
published. Have a decent little story, something that teaches.
yeah,
But yeah, I've thought about going back and finishing it up, but I haven't. It was actually something myself and my daughter started working on at one point before the bottom fell out of my world there.
right.
Beazle the Weasel.
Yeah, dude, you should. You definitely should. That would be awesome.
Because who puts a fucking weasel in a kid's book? Weasels get a bad rap.
I like it. Beezle the Weasel.
Yeah. But yeah, no, much props to Wyatt. I hope that works out for him. You know I've never taken the time to. I'll take that back. I did start another. There is another book that I started that I don't know that I'll ever finish because I guess I don't I maybe it was a confidence thing. I don't know, but I started writing a book of my memoirs, kind of an
Mm,
autobiography memoirs, basically about my childhood. It was intended to be basically a survivor's book, for abuse and coming through it, breaking the chain, the cycle, as it were,
mhm.
from all the abuse that I dealt with growing up. Um, but somewhere along the line, I stopped, and I was just like, it's hard to write something like that. It's really
Yeah,
hard to put it all down, and and then one of the bad things is I spent a lot of my time growing up blacking out memories, like blacking out
yeah,
so much, and just to where I only held on to things that just the minutia of non horrific things that were going on, um, to try and tell my pretend in some way that I had some semblance of a normal childhood growing up, which was nowhere near the case.
yeah.
But it's a hard one to write. It's hard to put all that down. I got through about, I don't know, probably about 4 or 5 thousand words, and I was like, this is just difficult. And I walked away from it, and I haven't touched it
Yeah,
since.
that could be really good too, though.
Do I?
So that could be really good too, though.
I mean, it's
Could be very useful for people out there, who are
uh,
going through that right now or did go through that.
yeah. I mean, it's the kind of thing that happens constantly all over the place. It's the untold story that a lot of people are never able to share. It's just for whatever reasons. It's a tough one, but I did, but I guess part of it was like I was like, who am I? I mean, even though for in my opinion, what I went through was really horrific, and damaging. Other people go through much worse.
Sure.
But I don't know. So I was like, who am I? Why would my story be important? Why would it be important for
because
me to put it out there?
because you're a writer with a story to tell.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe I will jump into it one of these days, go back to it. It's like I said though, it's hard to regurgitate all of that. It's hard to sit there and read it,
Of course,
put
yeah.
it down, reread it, and have to go through everything you do when you're writing a book. And then part of me is like, do I really want to expose myself that much? It's weird because it's easy to talk about. Like, I made a decision a long time ago that I wasn't going to not talk about it, because that's
Mhm.
the biggest problem, is people don't talk about it when it's happened to them. My brother, he had a different approach to it when as we were getting older and we were out of the situation, and he's like, why do you tell people about that? You shouldn't, you just need to keep that to yourself. I'm like, no, no, people need to be aware that this goes on, because there's so many people that just live their nice, cozy, you know, leave it to beaver life, and they don't realize that right next door there's insane things going on, possibly. It's like
Yeah.
you just have no fucking clue. But you know, I don't know. It makes me angry. I wind up getting into situations where I'm just like, okay, I want to go kill child molesters. I want to go do bad things to people who do bad things to kids and other people.
Yeah, but I mean, you can use that as a focus though for writing a book. Put that emotion in the book, you know.
Yeah.
Ron Hilton saying, "How you two doing, Robert and John? Is everyone here enjoying their 30-day subscription to socialism?" Not yet. I haven't gotten the money yet. So,
I We're doing fine here. I'm still kind of in a in a very cautious place right now because unfortunately my wife is still expected to go to work, and 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 it's there's still there's still so many people that are just not staying at home and only going out for the essentials. Like, she's every day there are people coming in and just roaming around the fucking store. Just roaming around in general merchandise, nothing essential, just roaming
Hmm.
around and shopping, spending time in the store. I mean, and this guy, yeah, it's crazy. But me here at home, I'm like, I'm good. I have to go to the store every once in a while, but yeah, I'm not loving it because it's just there's a vibe in the air, right? It's weird. I don't like this weird feeling that we're in, this holding pattern that we're in, as it were. Like I said, I guess I'd just be much happier if they just go ahead and lift it all and just let it do its thing. It's gonna happen,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't going to listen, but we also decided we weren't going to talk about it on this
Right.
on
Well,
this
he
show
asked how
or
we're
on this
doing.
episode at
We
least.
were
He
asked by
did,
the
yeah.
chat, so
I
we
know.
we talked about it for a moment. I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to go into how
No, I know, I know.
stupid the guy.
As I said, I almost went
I
into
was
something, and I was like, no, no,
right,
no, screw it.
right, like
Yeah.
talking about how stupid the governor of Georgia is, or talking about the stupid shit that's happening in New York right now. Fuck, that's crazy shit that they're
Hmm.
going to be doing. I told you mass graves were going to start eventually. I warned you, Jake.
Yep.
It's
Just like what Jake says, if we die, we die.
yeah. Um, it's just what it is. Yeah, I've been making my peace with it. If I get it, there's a good chance that it's going to hurt me bad.
That's right, Jake. We will eventually.
But that doesn't mean I wanna. Ron says, "Take care." He enjoys our company. That
Aw,
makes me feel so good. Then that means we can expect to see you on Friday, April 10th.
that's right.
Come and hang out with us. Um, so yeah. So have you been doing anything else interesting in your downtime, John? Have you been catching up on any shows? Or I know you watched Game of Thrones. I think you're going through it a
Yeah, I
second
did.
time right now, right?
I am, yeah, with Tenchi going through with him. Um, let's see. What did I do? I start any new shows? Not really. I mostly just watch stand up if I'm going to watch like TV, you know. Um, yeah, there hasn't been much for me to do. I mean, everything's closed down, right?
Yeah. Well, try
The
some.
only thing I've really been doing new is Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord came out and I've been playing the hell out of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's about all I've been doing.
I mean, it's not a bad time to try out some new shows and stuff that you may have missed.
Yeah.
Like I was.
I don't like new things.
Let's see. Really, John? As
Really.
as you're
I'm
as
a
you're
super
talking about
holdout.
playing a new game.
No, it's not new though, because I've been waiting on it for years. So I played the first one. It's a sequel, right? Or technically it's a prequel, but it's second. I don't know. It takes place before the first game, but it's Mountain Blade 2. I don't know, but whatever. But
Apparently
yeah, so it's not really new. It's pretty much the same game, but
you
better,
you do
better
like
graphics.
apparently you do like new things because if I remember correctly, you told me you liked Game of Thrones, didn't you?
I what?
You liked
You
Game of
cut out.
Thrones,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I loved
and
it.
that was a new thing, right?
Yeah.
And I
Once in a while, I would
remember
try something new. It's not like
I do remember quite some time back when the show was still currently active and I was watching it, you very specifically telling me you weren't buying into all that hype about Game of Thrones and didn't have any desire to watch it. And
yeah.
then you wound up watching it.
Well, that's because I'm a holdout. Like I don't just watch something because it's popular. I'll usually wait until the show's done with, and then
Right.
I'll like give it a shot.
Right, because that makes you cool, right? I didn't buy into the
Yeah.
hype. I'm too cool for the hype. I'll watch it after
Right.
everybody else has.
Yeah. I don't buy hype. I don't get into hype.
You don't have to get into hype to find some, find something you enjoy.
And this is a
God,
perfect example of what's going on in chat right now. Jake's talking about any Tiger King. I haven't seen it yet, and no, I haven't seen it either because I don't like new things. But that's all the hype right now. That's all. If you're not talking about the virus going around, then you're talking about Tiger King. Like, those are the two subjects that are okay to talk about right now, and I'm not talking
actually,
about either of them really.
actually, I'm just going to
So
put this out there. The only thing that I have seen about the Tiger King is just that it's on what, Hulu? It's on Hulu now, right? Or
Netflix,
Netflix. That it's on
yeah,
Netflix. I haven't heard anything about it anywhere else. I saw it a couple of 2 or 3 weeks, or whenever it first got brought up on Netflix. I saw it and I'm like, oh, that looks like a documentary about dumbasses who have tigers,
yeah.
who shouldn't have tigers, and I'm like, I have no desire to watch that. And I'm like, and now, and hearing this, I'm like, and I see something in Discord a couple of days ago. I'm like, why the fuck would anybody get hyped up on a stupid fucking documentary about dumbasses who shouldn't have tigers that have tigers?
I think it's more of a reality show, if I'm not mistaken, than it is like a documentary. Um, but I actually heard about him. I didn't know that it was the same guy. I heard about him a few years ago. I think he was running for president, technically. Um, but yeah, he was like making some kind of speech in front of his tigers. Like he was just, So I did see him actually a few years before, but
Now,
not interested in the show.
I will say this on Hulu, and I think the third season that just ended was the final season. Future Man, odd show, really fucking weird but interesting take on time travel. Just the foibles of time travel, like through these 3 seasons of the show, and I'm just like, wow. Didn't see, how did you not expect that was going to happen? And then this happens. I'm like, how did you not see that coming? It's like, wow. Just watching how they fuck the timeline up, like really fuck the timeline up in all sorts of different ways. It's kind of interesting. Even in the third season, they bring in one of the characters. They brought in special guest for that season, which was um, from the interview, not with the beard, Seth Rogen.
Hmm.
So they had Seth Rogen in for the final season, playing a guy named Susan, which was, and it was actually I thought it was really pretty damn good, actually, Future Man. So
Oh, real quick, they're talking about private zoos in the chat there,
mhm.
feeding them lettuce and stuff. There is actually somewhere between New Orleans, Louisiana, and San Jose, Texas. I can't remember exactly where along that route there is, but there's actually a guy that has a tiger in a cage. He calls him Tony the Tiger, obviously. And where is it located? At a restroom, at a public, like a roadside, bathroom. Like it's like a rest stop. It's like a highway rest stop. He's just sitting there. He's got a tiger in the cage. Tiger looks super depressed. I mean, I'm sure it is, right? It's a fucking wild cat, and it's just locked in a cage at a rest stop somewhere.
what and what is this? I mean, is this
It's technically a private zoo. Let me
so? He's got one tiger in a cage and calls it a zoo.
yeah, it's something to do with like permits or something.
Somebody should shoot him in the face.
Yeah, 100% agree. But I'm
No,
sure
no, no,
he's
no.
armed too.
I disavow that. Never mind. I retract
Truck
that.
stop. It's a truck stop.
Nobody should do that.
No, fuck him. He caused harm. Let's see. Oh, Tony the Tiger's actually passed 2 years ago, and it was in Louisiana.
Hmm.
Yeah, he apparently died October 16th, 2017. Tiger Truck Stop is what it's called. He was like 16 years old.
See, this is making me think of another episode of bullshit where they went after PETA.
Oh yeah, Peter's completely full of shit.
Oh my God, they were they're so full of shit. You know,
Oh yeah.
they were talking about, what was it? Was it 1990? They were looking at one year, and they were talking about how, they were looking at financial records, and one of the things that was on their financial records was a purchase of a walk-in freezer for like 10 grand or something, or I don't know how many thousands of dollars. And turns out that PETA, the organization that is so adamantly against the harm of animals and this, that, and the other, wants the full liberation of all animals. Full liberation. Just let them all go. Just let them all go. Um, they had taken in like, what was it? Over like 2,000 something rescued animals, and euthanized like 1,300 of these animals
Oh yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're killing fucking animals? You're killing
Yeah.
fucking animals. Because the founder of PETA said that, there are times when the best solution for an animal is to just put it to sleep. What the
I mean
fuck is.
that is true though. That
Yes.
is true. It's very unfortunate. It sucks.
But they don't.
But yeah,
But they sure
it's
as
true.
fuck don't. There's sure as fuck no transparency about how many animals they're euthanizing, right?
Right.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's yeah, these that's like the Tiger King thing. I don't want to watch it purely from an ethical or moral standpoint. It's not that I'm just like, I'm not a PETA person, but you shouldn't have fucking tigers. I mean, it's
Yeah, no,
it,
you
it.
shouldn't.
I mean, it's one thing that we have dogs and cats, which have been domesticated for many, 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 many years, to where there are domesticated dogs, there are domesticated cats that are going to always live their life in captivity, as it were, as a pet, or
Hmm.
in that way. There's still wild ones out there, get it, but it is what it is. It's two species that have kind of turned into domesticated animals. All the rest of it, wild animal, fuck. It's like that lady quite a few years back that got her face ripped off by a fucking baboon. Like
Yeah,
half of her fucking face ripped off. And it's like, bitch, or was it a chimp? Maybe it was a chimp.
it's probably a champ.
But it's
Yeah,
like,
because they do that shit all the time,
but it's
and
like,
they've got like retard strength.
right. It's
It's
like,
ridiculous.
you dumb cunt. What do you think is going to happen when you have a wild animal? There are dog
Hmm.
breeds, domesticated dog breeds, that it's not necessarily smart to have one. Chows. Take chows, for instance. Those can be some very aggressive fuckers. They are very loyal to one person. And they don't, and that loyalty, I had a chow for a couple of years, and this fucking dog she was a little bitch. If you did not say goodbye to her when you left the fucking house, if you did not address her, and I know this for a fact that because I watched, it was only on those times she would go and take a fucking shit on the bed if you didn't
It's
address
like
her
fuck.
before you left. If you talked to
That's
her and
funny.
said bye and all of this, she was fine. But make the fucking mistake of just walking out of the house and not saying anything to her. She'll take a shit on the bed.
Yeah.
Fucking personality wacky. But they can be very aggressive, and they'll turn on their owners if you're not careful. Like, it just, not even being, violent to them or anything, but, they can turn. So there's still, even domesticated breeds of animals that will turn, whatever, however you want to call it. I'm not, pit bulls, people are always worried about pit bulls. That's the one that gets the bad rap. But I'm like, I've met a
Yeah.
lot of great pit bulls. They're a very good breed of dog. It's just the environment they're in a lot of places, that those dogs just do some fucked up shit. But
Yeah.
still, you got to be careful. But you get a wild animal, I don't care what it is. You bring a fucking wild fucking parrot from the fucking Amazon or Brazil or wherever the fuck you want to, that fucker can lose its shit on you. I mean, it's a wild animal. I don't care what anybody says. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
That's why I don't watch the time. You know, I haven't had any interest in that. Cause I'm like, I don't want to see people putting these fucking wild animals that should be out in a fucking jungle, doing their thing, enjoying their life, hanging out with their homies, being a tiger. Yeah, you shouldn't have those in fucking cages.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, Helen says, "Wow, what a mixed up animal." But that was her personality. I'm just saying, Helen, it was her personality. It wasn't like she was because every all the rest of the time she was fine. She was just loving. She was very protective. When people would come over to the house, she'd sit right beside me, and she would just watch them. And you know, if you know, I remember I had a date one night, and the girl was
All
sitting
right, give me
over.
1 second. I'm gonna go take a piss real quick.
Yeah, I was sitting on this. I was sitting in my chair, and the dog was sitting beside me. And the girl that I was having dinner with, I had invited over for dinner, was sitting on the couch. Well, she got up and walked over to me, and the dog nearly lost her shit because just because she was so loyal, and she's just a one person dog. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ed, all right. Who told the cousin fuckers where to find me? Um, what cousin fuckers? Are there cousin fuckers around here? And were you hiding? Is that the thing? Were you hiding, Ed, from someone that, or did you get? Oh, you got some. Did somebody invade your show? That's what it is, isn't it? Somebody got all rowdy in your show because that can be tough. What did Hilton say? Hilton, you have a private zoo near you where the animals look half starved and they're feeding so feeding them lettuce. Like what animals were they feeding? They were just feeding all the animals lettuce. That just sounds fucked up. Big cat. So I think Ed had some issues on his show. You should go and look on his stream and run through the chat and see how if he got fucked with.
Got spammed by your racist cousin fuckers. You have racist cousin fuckers? Are they your cousins
I
or are
was just gonna
they?
say, were these family members? Oh, they ran
Huh.
they ran out of money for real food at the zoo. That's fucked up. Sounds like somebody needs to put in for a zero interest loan.
Yeah.
I think stimulus. Wait, zoos are.
Oh, by racist cousin fuckers. Gotcha.
Oh, it's supposed to be by. Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Who
It
owns
sucks that I had to leave like right before I guess that happened.
who
Damn.
who is responsible for zoos? So, for instance, like the one that's out in Sanford. Is that are zoos normally privately owned, or are they
No, I
funded
think
by the city?
it's probably a mix. Some zoos are private and some are publicly funded. Yeah, absolutely. I know like the one in Sanford is the Sanford Zoo, right? So like
Yes.
it's
Right.
funded, I guess, by either the city or the county, and it's a nice zoo. At least the last time I went there, that was fucking 10 years ago, more maybe. So
Well, I
I haven't
don't.
been there in a long time.
Well, I don't know that the just the name of it would indicate whether it's private or not, because I mean it wouldn't be uncommon if you're the only zoo, to name yourself, the Sanford Zoo, because you're in Sanford. Like the New York has a zoo, so I don't know what is that zoo called in New York. It the New York Zoo or whatever, but it's Catch 22 who's responsible for pumping money into them. He says this one is a private zoo. The Oklahoma City Zoo is publicly funded. Um,
Hmm.
Ed says that no, it's the same lot that I adopted somewhere late last year that you got to deal with in my Discord. Oh,
Yeah, I remember them.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's a fun time.
Kronos begat Zeus. That's who's responsible for him. I don't understand that one.
Yeah, I know the whole Kronos Zeus thing, but I don't know who we're talking about exactly.
The Bronx Zoo is publicly funded, Helton says. Now,
Is that the
now,
one that's like indoors? Isn't there one that's like in a skyscraper? I don't know if that's the Bronx Zoo, but I know there's a zoo over there that like is in a skyscraper building.
in New
I don't think
York,
it's the whole thing. Yeah,
that does not sound beneficial to the animals at all.
it doesn't look for it.
That just doesn't. That doesn't seem like it would be at all ethical for those animals to be kept in a fucking that. Wow. When do they get some sun? I mean, Jesus.
From the windows? I don't know.
We
Is it Central
no.
Park Zoo?
I get it.
No, it can't
Ed,
be Central Park.
Ed was being funny.
Okay. Oh, Queens Zoo, I think. No, I know for a fact there's fucking one of them.
Just type in Google which zoo is housed in a skyscraper. You might want to say which American zoo is housed in a skyscraper, but it should pull up your answer. Because that gets all your weird Quora and question answer sites and pulled up. Thank you for your humor, Ed. I didn't get it because I now I understand. Um, and just so you'll know, I'll Zeus your Kronos. There was a proposal for a vertical safari in Buenos Aires. Ron Helton says that just sounds horrible. I can't imagine not having animals in a zoo that's not an open air environment. This is fucked up.
It might be. So it might be part of the Central Park Zoo, which is like made up of 4 different zoos. So I think one of those might be. Okay, yeah. Um.
Just admit it, John. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
No, I think it is the Central Park Zoo.
Okay, there's no
Let me
skyscrapers
double
in
check.
Central Park, are
I
there?
I know, but like I said, it was made up of like 4 different zoos.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm not a huge fan of zoos, only from the standpoint that A, there are animals like take penguins that you have to create an environment, and typically it's going to be, it's closer to
Or is it the Bronx zoos?
a lot more of an indoor environment for them. But in a lot of the zoos I've seen, they don't build realistic habitats for them. It doesn't. Now I will say this:
Yeah.
Disney's Animal Kingdom. I have to say that their Animal Kingdom goes a lot farther in creating much more natural habitats for the animals. So when you get on their little safari, you actually go into areas where they have done their best to create plains and
Yeah.
savannas and stuff for the lions, and you see these amazing ant hills and things like this. It is much more wide open, like it's almost like the animals are free roaming, but they're confined, of course, because there's still barriers on the outer
Yeah.
edges, etc. That I can appreciate to a certain extent, because they've gone so far to build the environments. But the penguins in the Henry Villas Zoo in Madison just run free. So, but
That's
do
awesome. I
they
want to pet one.
not have a cold? But they have to have like a cold house that the penguins go into. Is that correct? Because I mean,
Yeah, I mean they don't just let them run around all day and
in and
leave them
out,
there at
just
night.
in the
Like,
outdoor,
yeah,
right? There's got to be an indoor environment. I would think that they can go into where it's I don't know. Do penguins need the cold? Is that a thing that they need? I know that their bodies are designed to stand
Right.
those because that's typically where they're at. But one of the, one of the things that I loved about Animal Kingdom, well, I love taking my girls to see the penguins because in their penguin house habitat, you they have it set up to where you can get crouch down and you go into these this tubes
Mm-hmm.
system underneath, and in it they have these little punch outs, little bubbles that you can
Yep.
pop up, and you can be right there amongst the penguins, you know, just like
Yeah.
inches from your face in these little bubbles, and they'll come up and they'll walk around and they'll see you and they'll peck and do. It's really kind of cool, and the kids love it. They're like, oh, I'm with the penguins. I'm with the penguins.
Yeah.
Um, I got to
Yeah,
give
those are really cool.
props to Disney for that. They kind, they didn't waste money on making that a good environment for the animals. Of course, yeah, again, it's you're taking the animals out of their natural habitat and bringing them just so we can sit around and look at them. I honestly have to say that you know it's nice to be able to see these animals in real life. There's a lot of majesty to seeing a giant fucking
Okay.
elephant or a giraffe, things like this. But now with the internet and 4K and you know ultra 4K, you can kind of like be there, and not have to go to a zoo. So we could just like send all the animals back home. Um, well, the ones that could survive on their own now that they've been in captivity for so long. But
Right.
I did see that. You
Okay.
noticed somebody posted in Discord about the two pandas. Now that there's nobody at the fucking zoo, the pandas are getting it on. It's like, fuck, we just been wanting to get a piece of ass, but there's always somebody watching.
Yeah. Um, I actually just looked up the difference between a zoo and a menagerie, and apparently the difference is size. So a menagerie is a very small zoo.
Yeah, there's only three things in a menagerie.
That's a menage a trois.
Same thing.
No.
Prove it. It's a
Well,
men.
because a
I
menagerie is a very small zoo.
I believe that you'd have to look at the phonetics, but I was pretty sure it's pronounced menagerie.
I don't care.
You should, John, because
It's French. Who cares about the French?
you're putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Fuck the French. That's my declarative statement of the night. Fuck the French.
I bet you wish you could.
I heard they smell. I don't know.
Does that mean that you boycott French fries?
Well, no, because French fries aren't French.
How
They're
do you
Belgian.
know?
Because they're Belgian.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Those are waffles, John.
Okay, yes, those are also There are also waffles from Belgium.
Do you like Belgian waffles?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, John. If you like Belgian waffles and French fries are Belgian, why in the fuck do you act like you don't like waffle fries from goddamn Chick-fil-A?
Because waffle fries are an abomination unto the Lord.
It's the perfect combination of two great things
No,
from Belgium.
but they don't work.
What do you mean they don't
No.
work?
Waffle fries are bullshit.
How? Just because you don't know how they. It's because you can't figure out how they fucking cut them. That's all it is. Admit it.
Cut them?
Yeah.
No. What? No, fuck that. Hang on, because waffle fries, first of all, the texture's all wrong. Secondly, you get like four of them because they're so big.
That's not.
And
You're ordering a
yeah,
small. That's your own problem.
no, I don't go to Chick-fil-A. Not for any kind of like reason. Just I don't know. I don't go there.
It's,
Um,
you're still on the homo boycott.
I could give a shit less. But no, no, just the bullshit. The texture is all wrong. Waffle fries are an abomination.
Mm-mm.
They need to go away.
Give
They
me
need to
some
fade
waffle.
off into the night.
Give me some waffle fries and some Chick-fil-A sauce. Mm-mm-mm. No, but I do get into this conundrum every time I eat them, where I sit there and I look at them and I go, how in the fuck do they cut these things? Because I keep trying to figure out how I could cut waffle fries like that at home, and I'm like, I don't know how they do it. I just
It's
can't figure it
black
out.
magic.
And the real thing I want to know is what happens to all the potato from the holes in the waffle fries?
They go into the next batch, I'm sure.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
The holes are
I have no idea.
square.
I know what you mean. I don't
That's
know. I
that's
don't know what they fucking do. Maybe they just eat the workers get to eat them.
nope. I know exactly what's happening because
Yeah.
they get them in pre-made. Of course, they're not making cutting them there.
Yeah, yeah, obviously.
So here's what's happening.
There's a
Chick-fil-A,
machine that does it.
they have a machine that's cutting them, and the little square cutouts that are in there, all those holes, those are actually French fries, and they're selling those to fucking Burger King, McDonald's, whoever, and they're selling them. So they're making money off of the leftover parts of the waffle fries that they can't sell. I just figured it out.
You did.
How ingenious would that be if that's actually what they were doing?
I mean, it's obviously not, but
Well, how is it obviously not? How do we know they're not?
because those companies have been around a lot longer than Chick-fil-A, and they've already got massive deals on French fries.
Okay, so maybe Chick-fil-A is selling it to one of the distributors that supply those people. I'm
Maybe,
just saying, somewhere
maybe.
they're I think they're getting rid of those potatoes. 'Cause, I mean, you don't want to waste that much potato.
No, you certainly don't.
You know what would really, really fuck with me though? If I found out, and it's possible, that they're actually taking a potato mash, which could point to the consistency issue, that they're taking a potato mash and forming those waffle fries.
Yeah, very well could be.
We're going to have to research that and find out how
We need to do an
exactly they
investigation.
make those waffle fries. Because if they are a potato mash, then they're nothing but the Pringles of the French fry world.
Dude, Pringles are good though.
They're just mashed potatoes, crisp.
Yeah,
They're just mashed
potatoes are
potatoes.
delicious.
They're mashed
Mashed
potatoes.
potatoes are fucking delicious. The hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, mashed potatoes are great,
Yeah.
but Pringles had to stop calling them potato chips because they're not potato chips. You know, they had to change it. I think they have to call them something else, potato crisp or something like that.
I don't know.
Did you know this? Here's a little interesting piece of trivia for you. When you pull a Pringles out of the can, the flavor that's on there, not the originals, but the other, any of the others. Actually, I
Hmm.
think they do it on the original too with the salting. They only put flavor on one side, so that
Yeah,
you can
I
have
knew
a
that.
choice of either putting the side with the intense flavor against your tongue or the not intense flavor against your tongue, and then it mixes in as you chew it up. They do it very specifically. And I didn't
Hmm.
know that when I found that out. I was like, well, that's different, but interesting. And you know why they're shaped like that? Because it's the perfect shape to lay the entire
Your
chip right
tongue.
on your tongue.
Mm.
Genius, but it's mashed
Yeah,
potatoes. So
that's cool.
I don't eat as many of them as I used to because they're mashed potatoes. It's kind of why I don't. Doritos are okay because that's how tortilla chips are made. Kind of. Not that those are
Yeah,
tortilla chips; they're just corn chips.
right.
But you know, just give me good old fashioned Lay's plain potato chips.
I like those too, though.
Just crispy slices of fucking potato. You know, just the original potato. I don't want your potato mash. But anyway, wow, John, we're running long.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were running long. I need to get the hell out of here because I still need to make a run to the store before we hit our curfew. All right, folks, I'm going to get the hell out of here. John, you're going to get the hell out of here too. We're going to wrap this up. All right, so just to make sure everybody's aware, John, look right up there. You see that above my head? That is information on the Generational Gap and Freedom Scoop First Responder Fundraiser that's going to be going on Friday, April 10th from 12 noon to 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, because we are the standard.
That's right.
We're raising money for first responders and anyone else affected by the COVID-19. I believe it's Team Rubicon that we're gonna wind up putting the money towards, because they are very specifically focused on getting supplies to hospitals and first responders, making sure that they have the necessary safety equipment, masks, and assorted gloves and other things that they need. That's their focus right now, and that's what they're using money for. We're going to have some special guests on, John. I believe we've got Matt Christensen lined up.
Yes.
Jay Edgar in the chat is going to be there. All of our friends from Freedom Scoop, including Stephen Ignoramus, is going to be there. Wyatt from Roundtable Decision, who may or may not still be in the chat. We're going to have RRC, the R-rated conservative, joining us. Hopefully, we're going to have some other folks showing up as well. We've got a lot of folks that in chat. I'm willing to say that there's a good chance we might just pull random people from the audience in. Hopefully, we're going to multi-stream this on the different shows that you can find on the Freedom Scoop Network. Our goal is to raise as much money as we can. We're setting the bar a little bit high at $5,000. I know it's not necessarily a lot when you think about the bigger picture, but
it can buy a lot of math.
Every little bit does help, right, John? That's the thing you always have to remember when you're raising money for folks. Ed, you're allowed. You can feel free to bring your cousin fuckers if you would like, but we don't want to see you fucking your cousin. We won't be able to show that on the stream. Sorry about that. John, besides the link to the GoFundMe, which is down there in the description, so please don't be afraid to jump on there and go ahead and make any donations now. It's okay to start making donations. Don't forget that at the same time that you're looking at that link to the GoFundMe and the stuff in our description, hit the damn like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. John, where can they find us in the interim when we're not on the air?
Yes, you can find us on Twitter at the Gen Gap P. You can find our Discord server, link down below as well. You can also find us on Freedom Scoop, who's helping us host this fundraiser. So you can find the website link down below to freedomscoop.com. We will find all of our videos. You'll find Jay Edgar's, Stephen Ignoramus's, Wyatt from Roundtable Decision. He's over there. R-rated conservative is over there as well. So make sure you go over there and check all that stuff out. And you can also buy some of our merch while you're over there. You can buy our T-shirts or coffee mug, like Robert is displaying right now. Vanna Whiting over there. If you put in the code GenGap at checkout, you'll get 15% off your purchase. So make sure you go and do that, because that helps us as well. That helps keep us going. So make sure you do that.
All right, folks, we're going to get the hell out of here. We'll be planning on seeing you 12 p.m., 12 noon on Friday, April 10th. This coming Friday, 12 hours, coming at you live. We're going to be here. We expect you to be there. Pop in anytime you can. We love seeing you all. We love the conversation. And where did you post the fundraiser? In the description. John, is it in there? Check the description. It should be there.
Oh, God. Did you not put it there?
I know I did. I made the link and everything. I could have sworn I put it.
Oh, yeah. It's in there. Yeah, it's the first one.
Yeah, just read the top part of the description where I talk about the virus and stuff, but there should be a link there. So it's a tiny URL link, but if you click on that, hopefully it turned it into a link. And if not, then copy and paste it, and it'll take you to the fundraiser. Outside of that, and please do us a favor. If you got the props, Share it on your social media sites. Share it on Twitter. Share it wherever
Yes.
you can, and let people know. The more people that we can get involved with this, the more chances we have of raising the kind of money that we need. So we'll see you.
Absolutely.
We're going to see you Friday at 12 p.m. After that, provided that we make it through a full 12 hours yet again. Then we'll be back again next Monday for another episode of Shooting the Shit at 9:30 Eastern Time, just like we are now. Oh, sorry, Ron. I did. Yeah, it's not in the D Live. I forgot you're on D Live. I apologize for that. The description thing with D Live is kind of funky. It's got to be done a whole side note. I'll try and get it in there and make sure it's there. Put it as a standing thing, but nobody ever goes to that unless we're on anyway. Um,
Yeah, it'll be there on Friday.
Yeah, I'll make sure it's in there. There'll be a block for that to be available on D Live next this coming Friday. All right. So outside of that, thank you very much, folks, for joining us tonight. Lots of good conversation. Thanks for listening to us just run off at the mouth for a while. Please do us a favor. Stay safe. Uh, you know, do the distancing. Wash your hands. You know, this is one of those times where we just try and do the best you can to keep yourself safe because we like having you here watching the show, and we don't want anybody just getting sick at all. God forbid. Most of you are going to make it through it, but you know,
Yeah.
nobody wants to be sick. Sick is icky. All right, John. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to get the hell out of here. Peace.
Yep. See you guys.
The war will begin.